Hi friends, welcome to our channel. Today we have an important and very relevant topic. 5 toxic people you should avoid. As a psychologist, I will share with you tips and advice that will help you recognize and avoid people who can negatively affect your emotional state and mental health. Let's get started. By what signs can you recognize toxic people and how to protect yourself from their influence? If you have to be in their company, let's find out. Have you ever met people in whose presence you find it hard to breathe? Does it become unbearably stuffy, as if the oxygen has been sucked out of the air? That's how toxicity manifests itself. From the point of view of psychology, it is emotional immaturity, the inability to reflect, to realize one's emotions, to separate oneself from them. People who cannot think and feel at the same time are called toxic. They do not see the whole picture, but partially, where there is only good, bad, guilty, not guilty. The second important point, if a person is in a long relationship with a toxic partner, it's about his choice too. So somewhere in the unconscious layer of his multi-level psyche, he is not ready to accept certain qualities in himself and is looking for them in others. What can stuffy people be like? How can we recognize them and properly protect ourselves? Manipulators skillfully play on your emotions and feelings to achieve their goals. They may use deception, flattery, or even threats to control your behavior. Signs of a manipulator include frequent mood swings, constant guilt, and a feeling that you must please them to avoid conflict. How to avoid? Set clear boundaries and stick to them. Learn to say no without guilt. Trust your gut feelings and don't let yourself be deceived. Victim. This is a person who is often in a bad, depressed mood, chronically sad. It is as if he or she does not have enough energy to take care of his or her own life from beginning to end. He blames anyone but himself for his failures, and instead of healthy communication, he communicates by passive aggression. The victimized person does not speak up if he or she is not satisfied with something. He or she is not able to say no and delineate boundaries in an ecological way. Instead, he or she keeps silent, sabotages, and evades answers. It is important to victims that others reflect their aggression, which they are unable to express. Therefore, they behave in a way that can make even Mother Teresa mad. Negativists. Negativists always see only the bad in every situation. They often complain, criticize, and spread pessimism. Interacting with these people can make you feel depressed and discouraged. How to avoid? Reduce your time with negative people. Maintain a positive environment that inspires you. Don't get drawn into their negative discussions and try to turn the conversation to more positive topics. Rescuers include people who like to do good. That is, to do good. They provide advice, valuable guidance, and direction, tell you the best way to do things, and are willing to come up with hundreds of solutions to your issues, even when you don't ask them to. And everything would be fine, but the trap is that they see the interlocutor as a victim. It is worth entering into a dense interaction with rescuers over time, and you will begin to lose strength, the ability to solve problems independently, and the desire to take responsibility. Another variant of the outcome of such communication is the need to constantly defend your autonomy, wasting a lot of energy on it. Egocentrics. Egocentrics believe that the whole world revolves around them. They have little interest in your feelings and needs, focusing only on their own wants and problems. Interacting with these people can make you feel unappreciated and insignificant. How to avoid? Spend time with people who value and respect you. Don't let self-centered people violate your personal boundaries. Remind yourself that your feelings and needs are important. What is the difference between an egoist and an egocentric? In general, the two concepts are similar. However, they differ in how the individual feels about their position. The egoist consciously chooses his position, while the egocentrist simply cannot imagine how it could be any other way. In other words, the egoist is unwilling to accept another's opinion, while the egocentrist is incapable of doing so. Controller, aggressor. The name speaks for itself. Controllers are people who, in their desire to take control of another person's decisions, go beyond the acceptable limits. They raise their voice, take on personalities, etc. And if their wards do not act in accordance with their vision of the problem, it becomes a red rag for the bull. Controllers lose their temper, forcing others to do what they want by all means necessary. But the main characteristic of such people is that they never feel satisfied. Zones of control grow, and aggression becomes more and more unhealthy. How to distinguish between care and control in a relationship. How to understand that you are being controlled. The word control refers to the desire to influence the situation, make decisions, and set directives. Care, on the other hand, is expressed in support and interest in the well-being of the partner. When a person tries to control his partner, it is as if he does not trust him. Gossipers. Gossipers like to discuss others behind their backs and spread rumors. They may use information you have confided in them against you. This undermines trust and creates an atmosphere of mistrust and suspicion. How to avoid. Be careful what you tell and to whom you tell it. Avoid getting involved in other people's discussions. Surround yourself with honest and open people who respect confidentiality. What are the dangers of gossip? Insulting or false rumors can cause stress, anxiety, and even depression in those being talked about. And sometimes, gossip can lead to suicide. Gossip is harmful because it can ruin relationships, damage reputations, and cause negative emotions. Who gossips the most? The experts found no differences by gender. Women gossip as much as men. Nor does the amount of gossip depend on position, level of education, or income. However, some differences were found by age. Young people more often gossip negatively than older people. Judge. This is a collective image uniting people who constantly devalue those around them. Their ideas, achievements, thoughts, intentions. They always know the best way to act, necessarily comment on it, condemn others. Of course, not for nothing, but for the purpose of self-affirmation. By expressing unconstructive criticism, they thereby raise their self-esteem. In the depths of their soul is hidden great insecurity, which prevents them from realizing that every person is valuable by the fact of his existence. There are no specific rules for how to live, and no one is immune to mistakes. When communicating with a judge, you need to remember the main thing. If someone has awarded themselves the right to make psychological diagnoses, then everything this person says is 99% about them, not about you. Victims are always in a state of misery and constantly complain about their fate. They tend to blame others for their problems and do not take steps to improve their lives. This can make you feel responsible for their problems and constantly stressed. How to avoid? Maintain a balance between empathy and self-preservation. Encourage them to be self-reliant and proactive. Don't allow yourself to be drawn into their endless complaints and problems. What is victim syndrome? Victim syndrome is an acquired personality trait in which a person believes he or she is a victim of the negative actions of other people or circumstances. Not only does he or she think this, but also behaves as if he or she has obvious evidence of it. What is wrong with the victim position? A person in the victim position demands, blackmails, manipulates, devalues, resents, stipulates, blames, threatens, harasses. Everyone is guilty of something, especially those whom she envies in some way. How convenient is the position of a victim? Sometimes the position of a victim can be very convenient. It allows a person to force others to obey and shift responsibility. But it has a devastating effect on the psyche of the guilty. It does not allow you to feel the joy and fullness of life. Off dialogues with off look like this. Will you have something? I don't care. You want to go there? I don't know. What time is convenient? Whatever time. I don't know. Okay. I made a reservation at a Mexican restaurant at 7 o'clock. I don't really want to go. Where do you want to go? I'm telling you, I don't care. When you ask them to make a decision, they don't care. When you ask him something, he doesn't know. When you realize your desires, He lets you know that you didn't try hard enough. Toxicity lies in the fact that you have to constantly think up for the other person. Take responsibility not only for yourself, but also for your partner. Change plans urgently so as not to spoil the evening. All this takes a lot of energy and nerves. How to behave with toxic people. The behavioral strategy with each type of person above is about the same. Step 1. Realize that every victim needs their aggressor, every rescuer needs their victim, and every controller needs their shutdown. If you find yourself in a long-term relationship with any of them, it's time to answer the question, what am I missing in myself that I need this kind of communication? Step 2. Environmentally delineate your boundaries. Read also, Don't Lose Yourself, How to Designate and Protect Your Personal Boundaries. For each type of toxic person, you will have to follow specific behavioral tactics. With the victim, I can't help you if you continue to communicate in the same manner. Silence, laugh at my answers, and give one-word answers. With the rescuer, I value your opinion. I will take it into account. Thank you. With the controller, thank you for your concern. I am confident in my decision and fully accept all responsibility for it. With judges, if you have any criticism of me, give it constructively. If not, I'd prefer to implement the plan as I see it. With shutdowns, you reject it, suggest it. Let's spend the evening the way you want to spend it. Step 3. If your partner is not pulling up behind you to constructively resolve conflicts, step back to a safe distance. Whether or not to engage in close interaction with a toxic person is a matter of your awareness alone. You need to realize that other people can't dictate how you live your life. If you are comfortable in the relationship, it is your choice. At any time, you can refuse to communicate or apply such tactics of behavior that will disarm the stuffy person. Thank you for joining us today. We hope these tips help you recognize toxic people in your environment and avoid being negatively affected by them. Remember, your emotional and mental health is priceless, and you deserve to be surrounded by people who support you and inspire you to do better. If this video was helpful to you, leave a comment, share your thoughts, and give us a like. Don't forget to save this video to come back to these tips in the future. Wishing you harmony and happiness in your relationship. May God bless you.